Huh. Don't ask me what the hell that was. That was just completely stupid. Everything dropped out, and I am back. All right. Yeah, I think this is somebody trying to be clever and trying to attack me personally, and that's just sad and pathetic, if you ask me. So, like I was saying here, if you grab your item and you throw it back in here, when you throw the static mesh in, it just throws it however the hell it wants to throw it in here. Yeah, I think someone's just getting their jollies, just attacking me. Yeah, this has nothing to do with Paragon, and if the person that keeps attacking me is doing this because of Paragon, you're not affecting the project in any way, shape, or form. I'm not actually working on that project. Other parts of my staff are actually doing that part of the project. So you're not hurting the Paragon part of the project. You're just being an annoying little prick, and you know it doesn't really faze me all that much. It's just sad and pathetic that somebody would go through their time and effort to go after me, and I personally don't care. Um, so anyway, I created this blueprint, and then I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to grab my. I'm just going to left click and select the storefront static mesh. Go back into my blueprint, and then I'm going to add a component, and it's going to be already selected for my static mesh, and there we go. So that it doesn't throw it in underneath the ground, because like I was trying to say before, kept getting dropped there. If you just drag it in here, every time you drag the damn thing into the map, you have to resize it and set it up to the height you want and that kind of junk. Alright, so yeah, if we change our blueprint around, then it's going to make our changes for us. So let's try it at 400 Z height here. And I'm not even compiling it. I'm just setting that in here. We know we need to go a little bit more, so let's go with Z height of 420. We'll take a look at it. Now, instead of doing it this way, the fact that I have 3 monitors, I can actually grab that, drag it off to the other monitor, and make sure that it's big enough to see, and then I could actually be making my adjustments, and I'm making the adjustments off screen. So let's try 415, and you can see the changes that I'm making in the blueprint are directly affecting how it lines up here. That looks good for my height. So now that we've made our changes in our blueprint, let's drag it back in here. Now every time we drop it in here, see how it's based off of this right there. That little dot where the arrows are is going to tell you where it's going to be basing its location off of. So we had to change it off of the top from there. So I'm going to hit compile and save, and then I'm going to come over here. Well, what if we want to add in that storefront that we did? If we try to add that in, it's going to do the same thing. We're going to have to size it up, and it's not that hard to do. But if our piece is now actually inside of the blueprint, so we can actually make our changes inside here with our transform tools. So that we can line it up here, and it'll work just fine when we actually go back into the map. So see how it's lined up right here instead of the center. It's a pain in the butt, but a lot of butts. Again, take your time, get it right, and then it all becomes a quick drag and drop order. That'll be good enough for now. So I've dragged it and dropped it and compiled it and saved it, and I look at it in the map, and there it is. So now if I go in here to play, I actually have a storefront I can walk in. Yay, it's a complete unit. And now if I want to add in more of them, instead of copy and paste, let's actually, so every time we grab one and throw it into the map, it's automatically going to be the right height that we need it to be, and we can just throw it into. You can say if we're making a set of stores that we're going to line up off this back wall of our map or whatever, we're going to get it just right. That's why I like having no materials applied to the flooring, so that I can actually line things up. If I want to line it up with this edge here, I can easily do that because I have those there. So now if I want to add another one in, I can Control C, Control V, and copy and paste it in, drag it in, line it up, and there we go. And you can grab this one, grab both of them, Control C, Control V, and now you can paste two of them at a time. Line it up, get it perfect. And heck, let's grab one more of them. So we got three of them. Control C, Control V. The more of them you get like this, the more of a pain in the butt it'll end up being. Yeah, just keep screwing around, copy and paste, throw them in there, line them up, and there you go. And now we have a whole storefront. It looks a little bit weird because we're seeing the reflection off of that. I don't know how to fix that issue. I've never really noticed that until dealing with the glass in this game and the way it is. But you see our back wall is a living back wall. Well, there you go. So that's just a quick way of throwing together some prefabs so that you can populate a map. If you're trying to get a lot of stuff into a map in a hurry, once you've created your first basic portion of it, it's great. You can just keep throwing it in here with the blueprints like that. Got all this stuff here. What if we want to go to our rest of our assets? Oh, we got some stairs. Let's throw in our wood floater. Yeah, whatever. We'll just throw it in right here. We didn't make a blueprint out of this one, so we just have to adjust the height every time we want to throw it in here. And we'll throw it right there. Then we've got some other stairs that we prefabbed for other examples. Again, just grab it, size it, throw it in place. Once you've got all your own custom stuff that you've created, you can put them wherever you need to and really start making your map your own. Nobody else has these assets but you. You've created them yourself, and you're putting them into your map. Nobody else can lay claim to them. Yeah, I mean, it's all the base lighting and stuff, but now that I've created these as our BSPs into a static mesh, what happens if we try to scale these guys? It might look a little bit weird, but you know what? As long as the stair height doesn't get too big, you can do what you need to do. Let's actually put it there. So we just, show an example of what you can do. See, it's too high this way, so let's grab it. You can easily make your own custom stuff and adapt it to your own maps. Put it in, mess around with it, get it however you like, and I just can't emphasize how easy it is to do these things. And you've got your own custom assets that you can throw into a map that really, when you're trying to do some level design stuff and you don't have what you need, you can quickly throw together either a prototype version of it to get the job done, or you can actually spend the time to really build some really good static meshes that you can either throw directly in, or like I did with the storefronts here, combine them in as a blueprint and just keep slapping them in and going. with lighting, that's probably the best way to do it. Is if you notice in the starter content, if you go to the blueprints folder, there's already some lights that are prefabbed. So you grab that, and we'll say 000 because I'm weird and I'm going to put it in completely the wrong spot. And we'll drag this into the map, position it where we need it to be, line it up with the ceiling. The blueprints are already set up with the attenuation, the lighting, and everything else is already set up in the blueprint. So all you have to do is just drag it in and drop it in, and it's got everything you need. Those are easy enough to create because all it is in the blueprint is setting intensity, setting light color, setting light radius. It's using a blueprint to actually set up the preferences for the actual light itself. You don't have to get that complex. I mean, if you wanted to, you could just put in the point light and the static mesh, combine the two together and be done with it. But it is nice that you can actually go through and set all these things up as variables and edit them separately. Same thing with this wall sconce. You've already got one that's preset up there. Grab it, drag it in. You will have to look at it and see that, okay, well, it's turned sideways, so I need to rotate it. I do want to show one more thing really quickly, and we'll go ahead and call it, since this has been an experience of whatever. So that's our wall sconce. Sprites. If you've never used a sprite before, yes, it's cool to have that living wall, but what if I want to put some stuff on that wall right there to kind of make it, I don't know, our own. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit a quick save all because I haven't saved anything in a while. And whatever for the map. And then let's go ahead and create a new folder in our assets. And I'm going to call this textures. So if you've got a picture you want to bring into the game, BSP geometries are lovely, but it's nice having all the extra stuff. Like, I'm going to grab an image off of my hard drive. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I am off camera grabbing a picture. Actually, you've got some tucked away. There's a Skippy folder. Why is there a Skippy folder on my hard drive? Textures. Let's grab this guy. Drag this guy in, US flag, and with that US flag, I want to go ahead and save all. Now, I can actually right-click on it and select Sprite Actions and create Sprite. And there we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and save it. Now I can grab that sprite and throw it directly into the wall. And there we go. We're patriotic and stuff, right? A little bit on the big side, so you can change the scaling on it. You can use your transform tools and edit it to fit the application you want it to go into. And that's actually a wall sprite instead of applying a texture. So if we want this to go the whole wall, I mean, we can stretch it out and go the whole distance. It's a little bit too much, but you get the point. You can actually scale it up to whatever size you want. So now we go into our stall over here. We got this badass American flag painted right on that wall as a sprite. Now, if you don't want it that big, I mean, you can go in here and let's scale it down to 0.3 by 0.3 by 0.3 and do it that way. So you can actually make it look like a flag hanging on the wall or whatever. But that's just taking an image and right-clicking on it, turning it into a sprite. Very, 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 very easy. I mean, it's so easy to do that. Just got no problems with the UK flag, but I'm not in the UK, so I don't happen to have one on there. But you can grab an image off the internet, grab it in, put it in. I like to use PNG files for everything. So you can open it up in GIMP. I don't know why it just says video unavailable. Having all kinds of lovely issues tonight. So yeah, you can actually grab an image from the internet, save it to your hard drive, and as an example, I'm going to go ahead and give you some hot Google action going on here. And I'm going to drag that into the view here. So now we can see I got Google up and running. You can do a Google search for UK flag. And there you go. We got the Union Jack. Go to images. Of course, you'd want to find one that was royalty free, naturally. So you're not stealing anything from anybody. You don't want to be a bad person. You find one of sufficient quality, sufficient size, and then it's okay. Say if we want to use this particular one right here, I'm going to right click on it and view image. So you can actually see the actual image itself. Right click on it, save image as, and I'm just going to say UK flag, and then GIMP. GIMP is a free program for doing graphics editing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually close down the version that I've got. I'm going to go to my files, or wherever I just saved that file to, which again you can't see what I'm doing because I'm working off screen here, and go to the location of the file, and I'm going to edit, right click, edit with GIMP, and I'll actually bring GIMP into the main screen here so you can see what I'm doing. Just that easy. I'm actually going to go ahead and close the browser down. So yeah, Photoshop works too if you know how to use Photoshop. This is also for people who don't have Photoshop and they want to use something that's actually free and easy to get, and it works. So we're at 100%. That's fine. We're not really going to do anything to the image itself, except for we are going to file and save as or export as. But I'm going to Control Shift E, and I'm going to export image as a PNG, and select export. I want to tell it where I want it to go, and I have a specific location that I put all these files in. My textures folder, export, and then I can grab my file browser, go to that location, and then I'm actually done with GIMP. I can close it down since I just saved. Grab that UK flag that we just did, drag it into the map, and there we go. So now we actually have it here, and then again I'm going to right click on it and sprite actions, create sprite, save all. Now, because I didn't actually edit that image and didn't make that image, I don't know what it's going to look like. So again, it's huge. So let's try 0.3 by 0.3 by now tab 0.3. There we go. And again, you can use these transform tools for your sprites. It was just that easy. I mean, just that easy. Grabbed a picture off the internet, quickly converted it to a PNG, dropped it into my project, and turned it into a sprite in just a few seconds. Yeah, GIMP is a lot like Photoshop. I used to love Paint Shop Pro. That was my thing, and got really good at it and spent a lot of time editing images and stuff like that, and I lost my copy of it and like, yeah, whatever, screw it. So I just slowly picked up GIMP Paint Shop Pro for me was perfect. While everybody else was using Photoshop, they were just enough different that I couldn't just go from one to the other and immediately jump right into it. But whatever. I don't do a lot of photo editing now. But just that quick, I was able to bring a sprite in. I noticed that if you get to a certain spot, it's going to be a little bit glitchy. So what you can actually do, like, only your flag is glitchy, man. UK flag is glitching out. But if it is a problem, you can select it and its location. You can actually bring it out just a hair, and usually that'll take care of it. So by doing that, you can actually just bring it just a hair away from the wall, and it fixes that issue. Now, keep in mind, they don't blend well into the background. So you'd want, if you have like a picture frame, you could put it on there, and that would work. So it actually looked like it was a picture or a painting or something like that. Or if you're just trying to apply this as, okay, this wall's been wrapped with that texture. I thought sprites were a cool way to go to add a little extra color and pizzazz to a map. And I'm going to add one more image in just because, just because. I'm going to grab, let's see here. That's actually a pretty decent file size. He'd kill me if I put this one in, so I know you guys can't see which one I'm talking about. But, yeah, I'm going to grab this picture right here. I'm going to just drag it in there. Now, this one is actually a JPEG. And I was able to grab that JPEG and throw it in there. And I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to not create material, but I'm going to create a sprite. Save all. I'm going to put my sprite up on the wall. There we go. I'm sure somebody here will appreciate that. Anybody recognize that handsome fella? So, yeah. It was just that easy for me to grab that, make that into a sprite. Even though it was a JPEG, I threw it in here. And, yep. A lot of you guys recognize who that is. So, just that quick. I mean, just that quick. We put Skippy, the evil clown, right here in our map. And we can actually go in here and play. And we can see Skippy right there. Again, we want to drag that image away from the wall just a little bit, because it is acting a little glitchy. So we'll just do that. We'll just drag it away from the wall just a hair. We'll go back in there. Now, yes, you can see it from the top. I would actually trim this image down and clean it up a little bit more. But let's actually, I'm going to bring the whole image in, and I'm going to scale it. Let's try 0.1 by 0.1 by 0.1. And make it as a wall poster. We can actually make it even bigger now that we got it this way. And it's backwards, so we'd have to flip it around too, but that's not a big deal. So we just do, there we go. So quickly, there we go. We've got the Skippy the Evil Clown poster. We want to drag it up next to the window so it looks appropriate. So we can scare the bejesus out of people walking by our store in the mall here. So yeah, just that easy to take and add stuff in. Ah, the sound of a fresh can being opened. It's Orange Crush. It's not a beer. I don't drink. So, yeah, just that easy. You're able to drag in any picture you want and create it as a sprite inside the game. I'm sure Senior Skippy there will enjoy that for some of his polished out works. Now here's another thing, doing the same thing here that we just did. I'm going to grab that same sprite that we just got and grab the Skippy sprite. Control C, Control V. Going to grab a copy of it and I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to bring it out here. I'm going to place it in front of the door. So it's blocking the doorway. And you see it's acting solid. It's acting like an impassable material that we can block access to. So if you want to block off something, I just created a wall with Skippy. The wall of Skippy. Again, we can place it wherever we want to, and there we go. We can see through it, so we can see the backside of it. That's awesome. Alright. Alrighty, so any other questions before we kill this lovely stream that's dropped out, I don't know, 20 or 30 plus times on creating a sprite from an image, whether it's JPEG, PNG, quickly grabbing something in for rapid prototyping, things of that nature, BSP geometries in general, rapid prototyping and making things that we need for our map so we can get in here and have stuff that we can utilize quickly, things that we can replicate, things that we can just use. Usable BSP geometries to actually make our map function better and flow better. So if you're trying to make a turret for something, you could actually make a turret out of the BSP geometries or whatever else, and then be able to pop them into a blueprint, make them functional, and do all your stuff from there. So yeah, so many things you can do with BSP geometries, so many things that you can do to make your maps more functional just by creating all these new elements, making them yourself, and going from there. And no other questions about the BSPs. Turn assets into a mesh. You can add blueprint scripts to them. Yes, that's, I don't know if you caught what we're doing there. The storefront itself, I've actually created as a blueprint. So with that blueprint, I'm able to set up the height of it so that whenever I place it into the map, all I have to do is just drag the blueprint in, and it's already set up to the right floor height for me to be able to set up. All right. Damn thing stopped again. So, anyway, where I was going with this was, while we're actually looking at our blueprint, we've got our box collision set up in our doorway, and anybody that walks into the store, we want to trigger an event. And again, same thing if you're creating a turret, you're setting up your radius and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to hit compile and save. I'm going to go to my event graph, right click on my box, add event, on component begin overlap, and from there what we want to do is we want to come from our other actor, cast to player underscore base, or whatever your player character just happens to be, and then from that we just want to only say, okay, if this is what actually triggered the event, we want this to happen. We want to get actor location, just because we want a location. We want to play sound at location, and we're just going to do a sound for this right here. And since I haven't added any custom sounds in, we just have the normal stuff. I'm actually going to go ahead and put in the explosion cue. The location we're just going to drag into here. So now as soon as we walk into that door, we, the player, it doesn't matter if an NPC walks in, that's not what's going to do it. Only if a player walks into this radius, then we're going to play this sound there. So let's actually try this. We can see we have the box there, so we hit play. We walk over here and As soon as we walk in, it plays the sound. And again, if you want to add in some other effects like shooting or whatever, you would do all that in your blueprint scripting at that point. And all I'm going to do here is I've just added in that sound. I'm actually going to go ahead and spawn emitter at location. I'm going to use the same location here. I'm going to use the explosion. So again, compile and save. And now when we walk in, we're going to trigger that. So we see that. You know, we've created an event. Now, if you're creating a store, naturally you don't want your customers exploding as soon as they walk in the door. Creating a store, then you want it to play a little ding sound, or, you know, hello, thank you to my, welcome to my store. You know, I'm not trying to be like, you know, an ass here, but yeah, you can have like a welcome message or whatever. You're just wanting to trigger an event for something to actually happen. So as long as they break that plane, that's going to happen. Alright, so yeah, I mean, once you've created your BSPs into a static mesh, and then you've entered them into an actual blueprint, you can actually put all the stuff into the blueprint, and then add all your functionality in here, just like you will with anything else. Alright, so that's cool. And with these little tips and stuff here are things you can do. Yes, these are kind of cheesy examples of things you can do, but you can take these same examples and really expand on them. And these were just to give you a basic idea of what you can do. Like the rings. I'm going to zero them out at 0, 0, 100 and 0, 0, 200. I just want to line these up pretty close. These are rings that I was screwing around with earlier, and all I did was I created a static mesh out of BSP rings, and I created 2 separate blueprints for them just because. Then created that 2 counter-rotating rings. I'm not sure if everybody knows what, you know, they could use something like that for, just by adding a rotational movement to it, and then maybe putting a sphere on the inside, and maybe putting it on top of a pole or tower-ish kind of deal, or something of that nature. But just that quickly, you've created those 2 counter-rotating rings that you could use for something. I don't know what you would use it for, but would I work on more than one series? That's a very good question. I try to throw the information out there to get you started and rolling, and if I don't get any feedback from the community about those individual series as I'm going, then I'm going to stop them and then wait until somebody else says, hey, can you show how to do something else? So that's why I started creating some of these videos on the BSP geometries and creating our own custom map assets, because that was what was coming up as topics of things we were going over in Discord and so forth. You know, if I focused on one series, then yeah, I could make an entire game awesome and stuff from start to finish. But I kind of rather keep the series of a couple videos going where we're just getting the building blocks, the tools going to get you into where you can take all that information and create it into your own game. If I sit here and go step by step by step and show you every blueprint that I'm creating every step of the way to create a game, and you're creating it alongside of me, then, you know, why don't I just give you the same game and you already have it? You know, I would rather give you the tools and let you learn. Hopefully that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I would love to create a full series on start to finish creating a game, but I am creating a game, and that consumes a majority of my time. So if I sit here and make a full game directly on one blueprint at a time, then it kind of defeats the purpose of building two games simultaneously at the same time. It's like right now, I'll grab everything that I've put into the map. All right, that was fun. So, having a test map where you can actually build your BSP geometries, your static meshes, testing your features is very helpful. BBD, if you've got any specific questions on specific aspects of it, then please throw them out there. I'll be glad to answer questions. I don't have much time during whenever I'm actually working on my game project. The main project consumes my time, and that's what I'm trying to actually do, is build a game. These are just done also to be helpful, and sometimes kind of to subliminally show some of my people how to do some extra little things too. So, how to expand on their knowledge and grow my team as well. So create a test map, use it, enjoy it. Always work from the 000 location. Build some symmetry into your maps and into your assets whenever you're creating them, and it become easier to create as you go. You've got several different types of BSP geometries. Experiment with them. Like I said, if you just want to work in the raw like this, then add your textures later. That's great. You can do that. As soon as it's pretty easy to set up that way. So you've got, rapidly being able to put hope somebody's getting their jollies for kicking me like that. But so yeah, the building blocks. I want to give you the building blocks of actually creating something. Give you the tools to get you started, so that you can create your own masterpiece. Yeah, I don't want people to just follow along and just play by the numbers. That is nice to be able to do, to refer back to a video, watch piece by piece by piece. But if I keep giving you the tools individually, hopefully you can start sticking them together. And the biggest thing is I want people to actually be out here asking these questions. I'm actually, like I said, as I mentioned before, if I don't get any community feedback on a project or on a series, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not doing these for myself. I'm not creating these videos for me. I know how to do what I know how to do, so they're not for my help and my use. So if you want to learn something, what better way than to actually engage in conversation and saying, hey, this is what I need help with. Can you show me what the things are that are involved in how to do that, or how can I fix this, or whatever. If I don't get any feedback from the community, I'm not going to continue with a series. So if you want to see more of a series, then I've got to get the community to engage with me. I ask questions when I'm making a video, not just on a live stream. And if nobody responds, I'm just going to quit with it. I'm going to lose interest if nobody has interest in it. Yeah, most of these live streams and a lot of these series that I started doing are for helping individual people. I might have played RuneScape for 14 or 15 minutes and uninstalled it. Wasn't my kind of thing, but that's just kind of a blanket statement. It's like, I want to make Paragon. Okay. There's so many involved pieces of that puzzle that really just, if you got to have a starting point, and the starting point should always be a piece of paper and a pencil. and nothing to do with the computer itself. You need to actually understand where you need to be. The first thing you always should start off with is the concept. Get the concept in your head of how you want it to be. And, you know, you're going to need a menu. You're going to need to... What does the player see? When the game first loads in, what happens? You come up to a menu screen. Well, menus are what? What is a menu? It's a widget. So, you create a new folder, widgets, UI, whatever you want to call it. Be organized about everything. Have a concept ahead of time. And the first attempt you actually make to create the game, you're going to end up deleting it about 4 or 5 times. So don't worry if you're not perfect this time. You're going to get better each time you remake it. And if you don't keep remaking it, you're probably not growing and learning the best way. So a widget essentially is whenever I go to play and I want my player to have a heads-up display. I want it to show his health. I want his stamina, his mana, whatever else. I want to show his whatever information, how many coins he has, how much ammo they have. I don't have anything on my character screen. I just see the screen. I see the character. I'm doing my thing. I need a heads-up display. I need a main menu. There's so many different things that make up a game that, you know, I should probably break it down and actually sit down and think about an actual series. Well, yes and no on that on the Discord. What I can do is, like I said, I will help keep giving the little individual learning tools to help you along the way. So really quickly, I can create a simple widget that'll be my heads-up display. Create a widget, user interface, widget blueprint, and then we're going to call this our player HUD. Go into it. What do we want to see? This is our screen. This blue box right here, this is our screen. If I want to have my health displayed, well, I can grab a progress bar and I can set it up, make it whatever size I want to, put my own custom one in if I want to, and we're going to create this. We're going to set it up. Size is 300 by 30. I want to anchor it to the bottom right of the screen so that it stays in this location relative to everything else. It's health, so I want to change the color to red. Yep, that's good. And then I want to see the percentage. I can scroll this up. That's what it's going to look like. That's all cool. The link is in my channel description, so you can grab that there. So quickly, I just threw that little boom. Anything that's going to be displayed on the screen, anything you see on the screen that's changing, like the amount of damage you did, is actually a widget. You want those numbers to pop up over somebody's head to say, okay, I did X number of damage. I was just using this as an example here because we want to see something. We want to see a health bar, and now this health bar could actually be displayed above a character's head as well, or their name, or whatever. So much information can be done by creating widgets. I'm going to drag this up here, and because we created a widget doesn't mean we're actually going to see it. So we need to open up our player character, and I'm going to do this quickly here. Go into our player character and find us an empty spot, and let's say on event begin play we want to create a widget, and then we want to select the widget we just made, which is our player HUD, and we want to make a reference to get our player controller. Do that, throw that there. We want to go from our return value and add to viewport, and just that quick and easy. I can hit compile and save, and now I go into the game and see we got in the bottom right hand corner we have our little heads up display. If we want to have a black border or whatever behind there, I can grab an image and let's drag it over to here, put that there. Let's go ahead and anchor that to the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and we don't want to block our progress bar, So we're going to tell our Z order to be -1. So now we can see that above there. We want this to actually be black instead, so we can go to our color and opacity, change it to black, set our opacity to 0.5 so we can see through it a little bit. And now hit compile and save and go back into our game. You can see we have a, now this is really crude, but you know, we actually have a kind of a black section there with that on there. Now, if we want to actually display what our health is, well, first off, we don't have any health. So we need to add a variable to our character, and we need to call that our health. And then we want to change the type of that to a float. Hit compile and save. You can have a lot of events on begin play. This is the only thing that I've got so far that's put on there. I'm going to run my health off of a system of 0 to 100. So I'm going to hit compile, save. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to grab my progress bar. And for the percentage, I'm going to click on bind, create binding. It's going to quickly open up a little bit more space right here. From there, we can go to cast to player underscore base, which is my player character, by the way. And then we want to get player character. And from there, we want to grab our health. So we want to get health. And then we want to take that, and it's a float. So we don't want to just connect that up to there and only display that, because it can display it wrong if we're basing it off of 100. So we want to float divided by, which is a slash right here, division. So float divided by 100 is going to give us our percentage of 100 and actually show that. So now we compile, save, and play. We're at full health. How about that? Yeah, if you want to, but you don't have to use a sequence pin if you don't need it. This right here, what I'm going to do is, this is for creating my HUD. This is the only thing that this does. I'm going to select all three of these things here together. I'm going to right click and I'm going to collapse nodes, and I'm going to call this player HUD. And if I want to add more things in line after that, I can just go and double click on that, and then I can connect the output of the widget here to this. Compile, save, and go right here back to my event graph. Zoom back in again, and now I can just continue to build off of this and roll. So now if I want to hum a little tune or play a little thing or whatever functionality I need to continue adding, I can add to right there. But since right now our player is at full health, our health bar is now going to read our full health. If I come back over here to our player character, select my health, and set this to 85, it's still based off of a percentage of 100. So now I go in there, and you see my health bar has gone down a little bit. Now I've got 85 health. So if you want to check to see if that works, well, heck, you know, you got to have a pickup. You got to have some way of increasing it. So then you can then go back into our making our little things. Go into our assets and say if we had our store and drag our store in here, and then as soon as we walk into the door of the store, we're already casting to our player base. We can come off of this and get health, and then we're going to want to set our health. So I'm going to grab both of those two, drag them over here, because I'm going to be working with them here in just a second. What I want to do is I want to get a copy of my health, and we're going to check as soon as their character walks into the door of this store, we're going to check to see if they have 100 health. If not, then we're going to give them some health. So from there, if health, it will go to our float is less than, we want to use the less than here, less than 100, then we want to set our health to 100, or we can have it to give us an additional 10 health or whatever. But I just want to actually bring this out here, and I'm going to set in a branch node in line with that. So it's going to ask, is our health less than 100? If yes, then let's go ahead and set our health to 100. This is just really, really quick and rough. It would be no different if you're creating an actual, watch our health bar. So we walk into the thing and boom, our health is now 100. Yeah, if you're making NPCs, if I want to see, I've got this guy right here, and I look at him. He's this white character. Awesome, right? But what if I want to make another character that's a red guy? We can actually come into our. This is just gonna be a quick rough example, and grab our skeletal mesh, and since I'm not going to keep this one, you want to put this in a location where you want it to stay. I'm going to duplicate my skeletal mesh, and I'm going to call this blue dude. And then I'm going to go to my materials, grab these two, and I'm going to right click on duplicate, and I'm going to change this one to blue body, and this one to blue logo. And then I'll go in here and quickly open both of these, grab my blue logo, and I'm going to grab here, I'm going to select body color, grab this, we're going to make a nice little blue color, whatever, grab this one, drag it up there, click OK, save, close, go into this one, right click over, grab my body color, select here, select our prefab color, click OK, and save, and then wait for it to finish doing this little junk right here. Now, yeah, if I want to make an NPC, now if I want to make an NPC, that's different from making another version of my character, but I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So now we've created a new material for our NPC is going to be a blue guy. So come back to our mesh really quickly. Our blue dude, we're going to go ahead and select blue. Want to find our blue body and our blue logo, and then save. And our blue dude is complete. We'll hit a save all. And then if we're going to make an NPC, what I'm going to do first off is show you with this. We want to right click, create child blueprint class, and call this blue underscore player. And what that's going to do is none of our stuff is in our event graph anymore. It's all going to be based off of that begin play from the parent, or from the actual parent. So we just grab our mesh, change over to blue dude, compile and save. Now if we wanted to use that player base is what our standard is, and if we wanted to change our world settings so we actually used our blue dude, come over here, change it in our default pawn class, then we can actually do that. But if you're going to make an NPC, which I'm going to grab us back into player base, save all, instead of child actor, what you want to do is you want to duplicate it. So you can either right click and select duplicate, or you can hit Control W, and we'll call this NPC underscore base. NPC, all this stuff we have in here, okay, so sorry about that. So only the places in green, once I hit the P key, will show for where the NPC can actually walk. And that's the only places they're going to be able to walk. So hit P again, turn the visibility of it off. You're not going to see that in the game. It doesn't show up. And our NPC is not going to work unless we put him in there, inside that. And then we need to add a little bit of functionality for it as well. I'm going to go ahead and save it. You can build a full-on AI behavior tree of how you want it to react and do things. Yeah, I mean, you can set it up however you want for your yes, I do have people that are constantly attacking me every day. I get an intrusion attacks on my Steam account, my Epic Games account, my YouTube account, because I'm in the public eye, and because of some pathetic little kitties from another group that have been on the slander and attack campaign. They keep attacking me, but yeah, they're pretending like they're not hurting anybody. So the only people they're hurting is you guys, the people who are trying to watch my learning videos. They're not affecting the progress of my actual game itself. So they're only screwing people who are trying to learn how to do stuff. So we're going to add some basic functionality to our NPC. We want him to be able to walk. So see, he still has our health value from copying over our player. So if we want to be able to do anything with him, let's create a event begin play. Let's grab that, throw it in here, and we want to grab a reference to our mesh. Yeah, you have to, if you really want to get precise with the way things work, you need to create AI behavior trees. I just want to make a random walking NPC. So I want to get world location, and that way I've got a reference to where I am at any given time. And then let's just say AI. Let's actually go ahead and make it a little bit nicer. Let's add a variable in is moving, and we'll go ahead and hold down the B key, left click, so you can quickly make a branch, drag that in. We're going to ask, are we moving? Drop it on top of that. If the answer is no, then we want to do an AI move to. And we want to set our destination. Well, we want to random it's a random point in navigatable radius. It's one way to do it. So get random point in navigatable radius and connect that random location to our new destination. Mesh. Oh, we want to get reference to self. So we're talking to ourselves here, which happens whenever someone kicks my stream out. So basic setup, and then we can test it out. If we're not moving, we're going to go ahead and do this. So let's see what happens when we test that. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. You don't learn if you don't try things. So we want to set that radius wise. We didn't have an acceptable radius or a radius here. Let's actually put in 5, I don't care, 50,000. We'll just throw a large radius in so you can walk all over the place. So now you're just going to roam all around and walk throughout those different sectors and just do whatever. He's just going to go there and get to that point and stop, because we didn't tell him to continue doing things. So when we get to that point, we want to, from there, let's give him on success delay, have him wait, I don't know, 2 seconds, and then we want to set is moving to false. And then we can actually change this from begin play. Sorry, kicked out again. So yeah, I changed the event begin play to an event tick. So it's going to be constantly asking, are you moving? Are you moving? Are you moving? So we want to change this around a little bit. So let's just grab this and move this over a little bit. So if we're not moving, then we want to select an AI move to get to that location. And then let's go ahead and for now I'm going to grab set is moving to true, throw that inside there. And actually, no, we want to do this off of yeah, let's do it off of that one and see what happens, because on success we want him to set that he is moving, he's not moving anymore. But while he's moving, we want him to be in moving mode. So let's see what happens here. Is he's going to wander, he's going to get to his location, and then he's going to turn right around and just keep booking. He's ignoring his delay and just freaking out. So yeah, let's actually take that off of there and move that to the on success. Let's experiment, play around with where your delays and stuff go. So yeah, that's definitely not right there. So we want him. Yeah. Yeah, somebody's bored. So yeah, when you're running it from an event begin play, you get your reference to yourself and all this stuff here. You set your delay. Yeah. Setting it with a begin play and just setting it up as a loop. So now, whenever he gets here, you can set it up to work however you want to. Variables are a lovely thing. What I generally do is I see how he is actually using our delay system. Whenever I'm setting up my delay, instead of it being consistent 2 seconds all the time, you can actually do the same thing, make it a little bit more complex, but also make it more usable. I'm going to move it to here. And what you're wanting to find is a float. So you take this right here, and we want to get, well, I don't know. Let's create a random. Random float in range. And then let's start with a 2-second delay or a 5-second delay. And now it's going to pick between these at a random rate and then set our duration for our delay to between 2 seconds and 5 seconds, and then we want to loop back to here. So now, whenever he completes his movement, gets from point A to point B, remember we have the weird location for him to go to, he'll stop and he'll pause between 2 seconds and 5 seconds and then go. And every time he stops and gets to his destination to stop, his delay time will change based on the random selection between that. Event tick is something that you want to avoid like the plague whenever possible. Event tick is every second of real time. It's asking, did you do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Yeah, it's the little kid in the back seat of the car asking, are we there yet? 54,000 times on the way to a destination. It's constantly asking every second that question. And if you got one or two things here and there, like you're running an event tick to check your health, you get that, you want to add this and this and this. Everything you add off of this event tick, every second it's going to ask every bit of that information. So event begin. So anyway, like I was saying, event begin play, whenever you actually put it out there for a begin play, if we don't spawn this character in for 30 minutes, it's not going to do anything until it's spawned in. Once it's in, it is in beginning to play at that point. Once it begins to play or is spawned in or whatever, then it will start doing the things that's assigned to it on event begin play. Like our thing right here, the event tick is set up on the entryway to our door. If you watch our health, as soon as we walk in, bang, it's asking every second of the game that is playing, is a player walking through my door? Is a player walking through my door? Instead of it being on an event tick, it's on component overlap. Again, event component overlap or begin overlap. So it's not going to do anything until it says, oh, there was a player that just overlapped with my door threshold. So that's what's going to trigger this and try to set our health to 100 every time we do that. Whatever we trigger upon that. And events are, if you look at, like, this is event begin play, you can actually right click and type in event. You've got a bunch of different event styles here, but I also use a buttload of custom events. You right click, create custom event, and if you're creating a death event, okay, you can call this death. And whenever we do this, we want to play animation, or let's say whatever, create a new animation instance class, whatever, you build whatever you want off of this. But if you want to add this into something somewhere down the line, I'm just going to grab another event as we're destroyed, whatever, you know. I want to run everything off of my death script, and I'm just going to grab some random nonsense off of here. Audio, play sound, just whatever. If I want to make all of these events work, now whenever the players hit that death point, I can now just type in death, and I can play. This becomes a function. Hopefully that makes sense. Functions and delays don't really work well together. So again, I'm just going to select all of these, and I'm going to right click on them, collapse nodes, call this whatever it was, I don't know, whatever it was. You can actually compact everything down to a small little spot like that, and then open it up and make your edits and changes and stuff. It's our navigation system. If we want it to be able to continue to add things behind it, you can. If not, you can always just grab this, and then we actually know this was called our base navigation. If you wanted to, you could add a sequence node in, and then we can just leave that base navigation where it is. And if we want to create another thing off of here, you could add as many pins as you want to create parallel events. So if at begin play I want all of these things to happen at one time, You can do it that way, or you could actually just continue on from here and just continue bouncing along. And I said, since this right here is actually a delay loop, that's why I closed it out. So that's the best way for that one to work, is you terminate it off at the end. And then if you don't need these extra pins, you can always right click, remove execution pin, remove the ones that you don't need. And here you can then continue on the things you want it to do when it actually begins to play. Alright, I'm getting frustrated with the constantly being booted. The stream is disconnected on its own approximately 30 times. We've been going for a couple hours now. It's 1:30 in the morning, and I started screwing around with this around 9 p.m. tonight, and having one issue after another. So I'm going to actually not do any more live streams until I actually get into finding out why the hell it's dropping. If it's a DDoS attack, then I'm going to find out who's doing it, and then I'm going to put a bullet in their face. Probably more than one. Not enough to kill them, just enough to really maim them. If it's a software issue, then I'm going to reset a few things, whatever. And who knows. Guys, hop on my Discord. Catch me on there. If you've got specific questions, I can stream them, and other people can watch at the same time, and hopefully they won't disconnect every 15 seconds. But if you have these requests, and I'll just do these requested live streams, and you guys can talk to me live and ask me questions, and if I know the answer, I'll show you. Yeah, you can do a whole lot more if you set up a behavior tree. Well, thanks for joining. If you guys can keep in mind, if I don't respond to you on Discord, it's not that I don't want to talk to you. It's just that I don't want to talk to. And I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want to talk to you. That I actually get busy when I'm working on the main game project, and whenever I get in a groove, I start just rolling, and I don't like to be disturbed. So, and also, don't just send me Discord messages. Don't private message me. I'm not going to respond to it. It's not that I'm being rude. It's just that it takes time away from what I'm doing. If I see something popping up in the public lobby and I have a time to look at them, I will. And it's not that I'm being rude. It's just that I'm trying to coordinate building a game project, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot behind the scenes. And all the time that I spend, not saying that I don't enjoy, I do enjoy helping people and helping people learn. I would rather do that than worry about building the damn game. So, with that being said, if I don't get back to you immediately, don't sweat it. I don't talk to everybody all the time. I don't even talk to my own team most of the time. I get in here and I just do my thing, and I like to work on it. Well, I tried to do a question and answer about the main project tonight, and with the frequent disconnections, it kind of made it a little bit screwed up. I couldn't get logged into my Epic Game account to even bring up Unreal Engine 4. I mean, I couldn't even log into Unreal Engine because people are constantly attacking me. Because I've gone mainstream, and people out here on the internet, they see the stuff. They see what I'm doing. They see my Steam account. Whenever I'm playing in a multiplayer template, it shows my Steam account name. So my Steam account gets attack spammed, 20 plus times a day. Somebody has been doing DDoS attacks against my my Epic account, my Steam account, my YouTube account. When you get into the limelight, and especially whenever you're dealing with video game stuff, and you've got pathetic little people who they get butthurt over something, and they just take it out on. They think they're taking it out on you, but they're not taking it out on me. They're taking it out on you guys, the viewers of my videos. They're hurting you. They're attacking you guys. But because I couldn't get logged in time, I was 30 minutes late getting that stream going because I couldn't get into my freaking Epic account. I was locked out of my own account for a certain time period, because of somebody doing the denial attacks. Um, you know, it's that kind of stuff. It's just petty, pathetic little kids that get butt hurt because they got kicked off my team or they got told they couldn't have access. Excuse me, you punk just run right into me. Yeah, I'm talking to you, blue guy. I'll kick your ass. I will totally delete you.